Now, you miss on Juju, you may then be asking yourself, which Packer wide receiver should I prioritize? A lot of you, not in my leagues, but actually go double check because I'm in a lot of competitive leagues and I've seen Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs dropped in multiple leagues. Which one do you prioritize, though? Should they both be staring you at the face and you can only pick one of them up? Do you go Romeo Doubs, the 35% rostered guy, or Christian Watson at 42%? Well, let's talk about both these guys and then give you the ultimate choice. Doubs, as always, led the team with 86% of the routes. Any game he's been active this year, he's led the way in route share. That's also the trend of last year's team as well. But we're also seeing more of these big game explosions from Romeo Doubs. For a while early in his career, he was kind of that quote-unquote sacrificial X, just running routes, eating time on the field, a good blocker, but not really doing a ton with his fantasy production. Well, 49 yards and 2 touchdowns later in his Week 6 return to the lineup on 3 catches. Really, really solid. And again, led the way with field time, 86% of the routes. Did have a 13% target share, which Jaden Reed led the way, 19% of the targets. But we also had Christian Watson also seeing 13% of the targets as well. And he did a lot of work with his too. 3 catches, 68 yards, and a score. A nice deep bomb, a 44-yard grab. And Wicks out there now with a shoulder injury. Depends on what he ends up being labeled as. Right now, they say day-to-day. Should he miss time, though, that really opens up and condenses this target tree. It's going to be tough to trust either of these guys if Wicks is in. I know all of them play ahead of him, but Wicks, when he mixes in for 30% of the snaps or so, that really eats into Watson. That's why out of Watson and Doubs, I would definitely prioritize Doubs myself. You know every single week he's going to man that X receiver spot, be out there for 80% of the routes, and we're seeing these fantasy splashes. Even in the playoffs last year, when they needed someone to step up the most, it was Doubs who had that humongous game against the Cowboys. And so of these guys, I do think Doubs, despite the upside of Watson, we saw it as a rookie. This guy was the number 3 wide receiver from like week 11 to week 15. He had a massive run with Aaron Rodgers. They're so explosive, can attack you deep, can get it after the catch. There's a lot to love about Watson. If you told me both these guys were going to play equal routes rest of the year, yeah, I'd prioritize Watson. He is just the superior talent, the higher upside guy. And if it's just pure stashing for you, maybe you do go with Watson because there is a little bit of a higher ceiling, but I still lean with Doubs myself, given this consistent role in a top 5 passing attack in the NFL. I mean, this offense is just deadly. Jordan Love is lights out. And you look at the rest of the schedule until they're bye. You got Houston, a top 10 matchup, Jacksonville, the best possible matchup, and then Detroit, a top 3 matchup. 3 straight green zone matchups heading into the bye. So if Wicks misses any of the time, and even if not, I think Doubs is a guy you could certainly plug into your lineup and help you fill those bye weeks. As a Watson, again, if you do have to go for this one instead, I still think there's going to be some value to Christian Watson as well. But I do prioritize, again, I'd go Romeo Doubs over Watson myself, but either of these guys would be my number 2 and 3 wide receiver pickups of week 7 behind only Juju Smith-Schuster. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.